5 biggest cultural clashes you are bound to experience in law school as a brand new student. Hey everybody, my name is Marcella Dominguez and I am here to share these top 5 biggest cultural clashes that you might experience in law school. I'm also a business lawyer, trademark lawyer, helping legal students and legal professionals understand trademark law. Scroll down into the description if that's the path you're headed down. Number 1, in law school, people are probably going to mention that they know this lawyer and this lawyer, or their family friend lawyer, or their uncle who's a lawyer, their cousin. But a lot of us really don't know any lawyers at all. In fact, none of us really knew any lawyers until we graduated, became lawyers, and then met other lawyers. So if this was the case for you, tell me in the description below. Now, I can tell you that when I entered law school, I didn't really know any lawyers. So was it personally a surprise for me that other people knew so many other lawyers? Well, when people did say they knew a particular judge or a particular lawyer, I did think to myself, well, that's kind of cool because I didn't know any lawyers. Really, growing up, I can't really think of any that I knew, but now that's going to change. So for my family, I think they might be able to say, well, yeah, my mom's a lawyer, and I knew other lawyers maybe because of my mom. So if they were to go to law school, I'm sure that story's going to change for them. But for me as a first generation lawyer, I can definitely say that I didn't really know any lawyers. And I guess that's a good thing. I mean, I never really needed a lawyer. In your experience, do your friends say, oh yeah, I know this lawyer, or our family friend or our neighbors were lawyers? What has been your experience in law school with knowing other lawyers and other judges? Because I think this is clash number 1. Number 2, the number of classmates that are going to talk about their lake houses, their beach houses, or other fabulous vacations that they've taken. So if you feel like you're the only one who's stuck at home in the summertime working or working during your off time, because maybe you have a part-time job and you don't really have the luxury of vacationing like your friends, then please do not feel like you are left out, because I promise you that this is a big culture clash with some other law students. There are lots of wealthy law students that come from families of lawyers, judges, or wealthy people in general. So them talking about their vacations or how they went to the Hamptons or how they're going to Europe or how they just went to a ski vacation in Aspen is inevitable. Now tell me in the comments below where your friends are vacationing and let me know if this is a place you've been to yet or if you just sit there dreaming about visiting one day. Number 3, needing to have money immediately on hand for when the semester starts and you have to buy your books and all of the supplemental materials. For lots of us, we have to wait for scholarship money or for our loan money to be processed. But for other people in law school, they can just call up their mom and dad and say, hey, can you wire me this amount of money? Can you deposit this amount of money into my account? And all is good. So for those of us that actually had to wait for scholarship or loan funds to hit our account, then we are in a completely different boat than those of us who can just call our parents or put it on a credit card and have our parents pay the credit card, because that is simply not the case. So what kind of funds did you guys have to wait for? Did you have to wait for your parents' funds to hit your account, or did you have to wait for a loan or a scholarship to hit your account in order to buy your books and supplemental materials? Number 4, the reasons that people are in law school to begin with. Perhaps you're a first-generation law student just like I was, and you really have a passion for law. Maybe you've always been the argumentative types. Maybe people always told you should go to law school. And maybe this is something that you've thought about since you were a little kid. So for you, it wasn't because your mom or your dad owned a law firm. It wasn't because someone in your family was a lawyer and thought you need to continue the tradition. This is because you truly have this personal ambition to become a lawyer. So you might find out very quickly that a lot of your classmates actually come from a lineage of lawyers or whose family members are lawyers themselves and they want to keep the tradition alive. Now, we know that this is very much the case with some families that we have heard about recently in the news, but it really is no surprise that children of lawyers sometimes tend to be the ones in law school, or relatives of lawyers tend to be in law school, relatives of judges. But for some of us, that is not the case. There always has to be the first one, right? And so in this case, you are the first one going to law school, kind of paving the way for maybe future generations. So you might quickly find out that you and perhaps other first-generation law students are in law school for reasons that are very different than your peers who already have family members that are lawyers or judges. But please don't let this scare you. I am just here to inform you and to let you know what the experience might be like, because I'm not the only one who had some of these experiences. In fact, there's a whole community of people who had these experiences. Number 5, finding out how much other lawyers charge their clients. So if you are new to law school, then you might be thinking, oh, okay, maybe $50 to $60, maybe even $75. But if you've spoken with other lawyers, you know that there are lawyers that charge up to $600, $700 an hour for their work, depending on the type of work, and contingency fees can reach as high as 40%, again, depending on the type of law firm that, you work at or work for. So for someone who is not really accustomed to the lawyer lingo or to identifying with legal services or how much a lawyer actually charges, it could be a complete shocker to hear how much a lawyer charges their clients. So all in all, I hope that your law school experience turns out to be a very positive one, but there is no doubt that you will end up encountering some of these. Porsches, Maseratis, BMWs, Mercedes, fancy cars, expensive trips, luxury vacations, brand name clothing, you name it, and you're probably going to encounter it in law school. People will talk about their family and how much money they have. You might even find out that students have a lot more money in their account than you do. But don't cry, don't fret, and please don't get scared. I just want you to know what's out there in the world. So I hope that if you are considering law school, you are still equally as motivated after watching this video. So if you are a first-generation law student, then yes, you might encounter some culture clashes. Please keep going and stay motivated. Make sure you subscribe by hitting the red button below. If you are a law student, then make sure you tell me in the comments below what has been your biggest culture clash as a 1L. I'm very excited to read the comments and to see you in the next video, but don't forget to catch that video before logging off.